can take the man out of the flat rate garage, but it is difficult to get the flat rate out of the man. Dad has been chomping at the bit to finish up the Mustang here, so he did a couple solo days in the garage working by himself. He tackled the fuel lines, the heater hoses, added some coolant, changed the oil, sucked out the fuel from the gas tank, which is a pretty cool process. And then at the end of this, we're actually going to start this one up for the first time. So here we go.
Well, that's the new fuel line from tank and then to the fuel pump. The other one was just a little bit old and brittle, so we replaced it, put some new clamps on there, good to go.
For some reason, the only recording that didn't record sound too was this one when Dad was explaining things to the camera. Could be because we don't use an XLR microphone, could just be what happens. Anyway, it's YouTube. We're not expert videographers yet. We're still trying to work out all the kinks. But fear not, later in the video when he's sucking the fuel out of the gas tank, he kinda goes over the same stuff there. At least, I think. I mean, I don't know what he's saying here, but I know he's talking about the fuel lines and he's putting in a second larger filter so the small one doesn't get clogged up by any debris that are left over in the gas tank. But he could also be talking about something else. Who knows?
A little bit of this silicone spray. Spray that on the hose. It'll go together a lot easier. Just slip right on. Harder than what it looks. And then I'm going to slip this right on. It's got an in and out, in. And it's not marked out, but this in and out. So it looks a little bizarre, but it's going to be good for now. It's going to be temporary. It's not going to be forever. But I'm going to leave this clamp loose because I'm going to take this filter back off, and we're going to use a tanker to suck all the fuel out of the tank, up the line, and then into the tanker. And I'll put some fresh gas in it, and we'll suck some fresh gas before it goes into that new carburetor. Alright, last but not least, on this cooling system, the only thing we have left is to change these heater hoses right here. So from the water pump, from the block to the heater core. Obviously, way too long. That one should be running in here. This one is going to go running right in here, right along the choke thermostat. So we're going to cut those off. They go into the firewall, so we're not going to replace them into the firewall, but we're going to replace them right to here. I'm not sure what it is in that firewall, but they can't be reached. So we're going to stop right there. Get that one out of the way. We'll do this one first. These little pliers, these are pretty good here, because if you need to cut a hose and you want to cut it straight, a lot of times it's hard to cut it straight, but this grabs it on both sides of the hose, and you can cut a hose nice and straight. little bit of, get a little bit of coolant in this thing, finally. Okay, well, that about sums up the cooling system. New hoses, new heater hoses, whole lower hose. Now, new fuel lines. Like I said, I'm going to take that off and suck the fuel out of the tank, and then I'll put that back on once we get some fresh fuel. New carburetor. So, oh, she's getting close, getting close.
Now, if you remember, our power steering pump was a little out of line because you had the wrong length bolt in it. Dad changed that.
The power steering belt, it's pretty true. We got the right length bolt right here. Had the wrong bolt in there. I got it shimmed front and back to make it as close as possible being straight with the crankshaft, the power steering pulley to the crankshaft. So pretty happy, that looks pretty good. Now obviously the power steering, everything clears much better. We got a new belt on there, the right belt. It's right in the, almost in the middle of the adjustment area, right there. So yeah, happy how that turned out.
That was solo day number 1, and then the weekend rolls around and it was a real nice day. So Dad got the Mustang outside.
Okay, here we are. Springtime, cars outside. Well, springtime in New England is any time that it's not snowing outside or raining. It's not freezing. So Mustang's outside. We're gonna change the oil today. We might even see the sun. So let's take a walk around this thing, see what we got. So yeah, there she is outside. Been a little bit of a process. Rye's not here today. He's got some things to do.
Yeah, I work the weekends while everyone else enjoys themselves. I love my job, love working.
But I figured I'd change the oil on the Mustang, and I would also go ahead and get that rotten fuel out of it. So yeah, let's get at it. I mean, what do you think they hit? Holy smokes. Let's see if I can even get a wrench on this thing. Oh. Alright, well that's not too bad. There we go, not too bad. Even as mangled as that thing was, makes you wonder, what the hell? I mean, ooh, you can smell the gas in there. You can smell the bad gas. That's brutal. So who knows when the last time this thing had an oil change? I mean, I don't know. You know, we heard the car run briefly, but it had been sitting in that guy's garage for some 30 years, 39 years. I'm sure he changed oil at some point, but not in the last few years, that's for sure. But man, that stinks. Whew. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Yeah. It's even worse, I guess. You know what's funny is when you get another a car, and then you know you look at it a few times, and then you end up buying it, and then maybe you looked at it once, maybe you looked at it twice, but no matter what, when you get it home, you see things you didn't see the first time. You know, get this Fram filter off. There we go. There we go. Probably the cheapest oil filter you can buy, but anyway. We'll get a Motorcraft filter on there. But what I was talking about, what I want to show you is, you know, you look around and you see things. So there's just a couple things I saw. It's, you know, it's not crazy, but let's see. How about that? It's a carriage bolt. I wouldn't put that in there. So, you know, but someone did. But we'll fix it. And over here, look at those 2 bolts right there. I didn't quite tighten them up. We'll just leave them loose. But that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Still a great car. This pan is something. I don't know if you guys can see, guys and girls. That thing is stuffed. You know. Definitely seen worse. But the only thing you got to consider is that's where the oil pickup is for the motor. So. We'll have to see how that plays out. And then it looks like we got a little bit of a leak over there. So, but yeah, you know, you can see still got some cobwebs hanging around. But all in all, still a great car. We'll fix all these little things that are wrong and we'll make them right. Nice new Motorcraft filter. We'll get that on there, because that's what belongs on there. Of course, always remember to look and make sure that the old gasket came off with the filter and did not stay stuck onto the motor, because that would be no good. 2 gaskets is not better than 1. Hey, thankfully this drain plug threaded in and out with no problem, but she's a bit ugly. Little trick I do sometimes is I just pull up the dipstick a little bit, and that lets the air out when you pour the oil in, so the oil goes in, just so it doesn't back up on you and spill, especially in newer cars today. Yeah. And so these old motors, they require a little bit of zinc in the oil. Oils today, it's hard to come by oil that has zinc in it, but what you can do is you can buy an additive. It's always good to put a little zinc additive in these older motors, because you don't get it in today's oil. There we go. And like I was saying in one of the earlier videos, I'm going to be taking this fuel out of the car. So what I have here is, normally this fuel line would go right directly to the little fuel filter. So what I did is I added an additional larger fuel filter here, because these little ones clog up. Now this car's not really been on the road since almost 40 years, so who knows how good that tank is. Probably not that good. So if we start collecting a bunch of debris in this filter, I can just change this filter. Those little ones clog up in no time at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line off. I have a fuel tanker, and we're going to suck everything out of the tank into the tanker, and then we're going to put fresh fuel in, and then we're going to suck fresh fuel right up to this filter before we start the car, because I don't want to put any old fuel or potentially dirty fuel in this nice new carburetor. Make sense? I got this elaborate fuel tanker that I've been talking about there for a couple weeks. I figured I'd show it to you. It's something that we used to use back in the racing day, back when I used to race. Myself and one of my best friends built this, along with some help from a few other guys. Put a little fuel cell right down in there. It's battery operated, so you get a little lawnmower battery in there. It's got a charger in there. And all we would do is, we got this little switch right here. You'd open up the valve and hit the button, and then we could just pump it right into the race car. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to do something a little bit different. So we got this extra fitting right here to close off the valve. We're going to put a line right here, and then we're going to come over to here to the tank, and then we're going to suck all the fuel in this tank out, and then I'm going to put it into these 10-gallon cans. Hopefully there's no more than 10 gallons in that thing, because I don't want to put the old nasty fuel in my tanker. Okay, let's see how it goes. So all I gotta do is press my little button right here, and the pump should run, and see if we can suck some fuel. Oh, yeah, there we go. So it's getting sucked right in, and it should come out here. And plus it's filling that filter, so it might take a second to come out here. There it comes. There it comes. So let's suck away. Find out how much fuel is in this thing. Alright, looks like we're getting to the end of it here. It's still pumping a little bit. But we're getting a lot of air. We had about 4.5 gallons. Oh yeah, look at that. That's kind of dirty. That looks pretty brown. That's what's right at the bottom. Still getting something, but not much. I guess that's about it. We got 5 gallons of gas. Let's smell it. Doesn't smell too bad. Might be good enough for a lawnmower. Alright, now we get some fresh gas. Alright, we got 5 gallons of fresh gas in it now, so let's just get some fresh gas right up to the carburetor, and then we'll be done.
All right, so now that all that work is done and Dad and I are finally in the same place at the same time, we are going to start this up, but we do have an issue. And that one issue is that it is currently... Yeah, it's wet, it's raining. So we're not going to be able, we were hoping that we would be able to take her down the road because it's already registered and everything. But because it's raining, we're just going to open the doors, start it up inside, and hopefully, first crank, it's good to go. All right, we ready?
Yep, so just crank it over and we gotta fill the carburetor with fuel. Okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead. I need no fuel in there yet. Crank. Crank it. Hold on. Go ahead. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yep. That thing is not in fucking park.
Was it in reverse?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow, that's no good.
Wow.
Holy disaster. That shouldn't even crank. Yeah, you gotta stand in there and put your foot on the brake.
Alright.
Fucking Jesus. What a fucking disaster that would be.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me get some real talks.
So, we weren't going to talk about this, but we kind of thought we should. First off, I take a little bit of responsibility. I should have stayed in the car with my foot on the brake, but the car was able to crank without actually being in park. Why would that be, Dad?
So, fortunately, it was it didn't turn out bad, but it could have turned out real bad.
So I take responsibility for saving it and being quick enough to reach into the car and shut it off before it did shoot into one of the cars in the driveway.
Right, so, I mean, that could have been a lot worse. So, quick thinking on your part.
Thank you.
Because, you know, we were priming the carburetor, cranking it over, the thing's on fast idle, right? Put a little squirt to it, it fires up and starts backing out of the garage. I'm like, what the hell? But how does that happen? Let's talk about this car. It was originally a standard. Someone put an automatic in it. So when you put an automatic in it, most automatics have a neutral safety switch on the side of the transmission. So it's in park, the circuit is complete to the starter solenoid, and then the car can crank. If it's not in park, it shouldn't crank. If it's misadjusted, well, it could still crank. So in our situation, bingo, you know, this was a transmission swap. It's got an automatic in it. It was bypassed. No neutral safety. And the shifter, she's a little sloppy, and it was not in park. It was in reverse. It was, you know, that same thing could happen with a standard, especially with an old car. You know, as time went on, they introduced clutch switches where you have to have your foot on the clutch to get it to crank over. Well, some of these, you know, old cars don't have that, and if it's in gear and someone reaches in and cranks it and she's ready to fire, it's taken off. If it's in gear, it's going, you know. Mm-hmm. Sometimes with a standard, though, as soon as you go to crank it, she lurches forward, you know, because it's in gear. But with an automatic, by the time it fired, you know, the transmission started getting fluid pressure. She gingerly started backing up, but it was still a scary situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so. But all is well. No damage to the Mustang. The car was not harmed in this video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So let's check the firing order, make sure that that's right.
2, 6, right?
6,
5,
4, 8. So the firing order is right, but
yeah.
It's missing on this side of the motor. So one of these cylinders on this side has an issue. Mm-hmm. So I could be poking a little bit on this pipe, mm-hmm. and this, it's definitely on this side.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go deeper. I think it has a bad valve.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because when it was cranking over, it was and then this plunger was moving.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's got a bad intake valve.
We started it up, she ran, but not well. What's going on, Dad?
So basically, when it was cranking over before we filled the carburetor with fuel, when it was cranking over, it wasn't cranking over evenly. It was so it seems like it's got low compression in one cylinder. So next step is we're going to do a compression test. Take all the spark plugs out and get the battery good and charged. Crank it over, do a compression test, and see what we have for compression. We know everything else is good. Plugs, wires, cap, rotor, all that stuff. It's all good. But I think it's an intake valve. But we'll do a compression test and then we'll go from there. But I think that's what we got going on.
All right.
So
So that's what will be in the next video. We're going to do a compression test and hopefully make sure she's roadworthy and going down the road with it.